Hello and welcome to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friend. If you've been looking for a podcast geared towards your growth, self-awareness, navigating your brain's daily mind drama, and deep inner work to become your highest and best self, you are in the perfect place. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome back to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm so happy to have you back, and I hope that you had an amazing weekend. I definitely did, aside from Thursday feeling like trash because of a sore throat and the start of nasal congestion. But I'm happy to report that with my supplements and elderberry syrup, everything turned around, which I'm so thankful for. So welcome back. Thank you for being a listener and just supporting me by tuning into this podcast. I really appreciate it. Also, if you are an avid listener or you've listened to several episodes and you're loving it, I would truly appreciate any written reviews that you would leave, ratings that you would leave. That helps me become more visible to everyone else in the world with this podcast. So if you listen, if you enjoy this and you could leave me a written review and a rating, I would so greatly appreciate it. And what are we going to talk about today? So today we're going to be talking about what it takes to get whatever it is that you're looking to achieve in your life. And I'll tell you why I was inspired by this. So several years ago, actually back in 2013, I started occupational therapy school. And that in itself was a huge goal of mine. The school that I went to didn't accept just anybody. You had to go through a process of submitting a letter and sharing why you wanted to be accepted in the school. Your GPA had to be, at a certain standard. And then you got an interview and you had to physically come in and be interviewed by the staff of the occupational therapy school. And then they decided if you were going to be a good fit. And so it was this very terrifying moment in my life where I thought, oh my gosh, I want this more than anything at this point in my life. What is it going to be like if I don't end up getting this? And through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I found out that I made it into the program. And then the program itself was extremely stressful. If you've ever been to grad school or any sort of college, you know that it's just a different level outside of high school. It's really difficult. And it takes a lot of dedication and effort, and you don't just get to kind of breeze by for the most part. There's a lot of work to be done. But during 2013, I decided to start my fitness journey. And at that time, I would see these people on Instagram and be totally inspired by their physique and the dedication that they had to what they were eating and what they were doing. And at that point, I thought, I can do that. I had this very strong desire to change it. And so I began researching what it meant to prep my food. What kind of foods do I prep? What are macronutrients? What is this? What is that? And I just dove in and became this without even trying, really. I mean, and I don't mean not trying as in not enough effort. I mean, without really planning it, and that's a better way of putting it. I became like this unofficial bodybuilder and really began to change my physique, my eating habits. Everything about me really began to change shortly after personal development was brought into my life. And the two together, between training my mind and training my body, I was a force to be reckoned with. I felt unstoppable, like I could take over the world. It was just incredible. My body began shifting and changing. I loved being able to look at my body. I think that that's something that a lot of women struggle with sometimes, is that we often beat ourselves up because we feel like we don't love our body enough. But at that time when I decided to change it, I wasn't totally disgusted with my body. I just thought, wow, if I could create this physique, this would be really, really exciting. And I just went full force into it, began working out, eating healthy, and just loved the progress that I was making. Well, fast forward to a few years into that, I did it for about 2 years. I was drinking a gallon of water a day, working out 5 to 6 days a week. My sister was my workout partner. We went religiously. We held each other accountable. We both had awesome transformations. We felt good mentally and emotionally. I've shared with you guys that life hasn't always been, rainbows and butterflies. There's been a lot of dark times and a lot of sad times and a lot of drama in our life. And so my sister and I would work out to really help combat a lot of the depression and anxiety that we were faced with as we were going through a lot of stuff behind closed doors. So it was an outlet in several ways. It was like finally loving the body and skin that I was in because I was taking care of it, taking care of my mind, doing personal development. I was seeing my sister every single day. It was so much fun. And then in 2015, in the midst of still going through this horrible time behind closed doors, I started my internships where I would work in a hospital. It was kind of like the last 6-month stretch to my master's degree. And I fell off track. I started eating unhealthy again. I started, eating really only once to twice a day, whereas before when I was doing the healthy workout stuff, I was eating 5 and 6 times a day. I wasn't drinking any water. I started to feel fatigued and depressed and had a lot of anxiety, and I just kind of went downhill. And although my mindset has continued to get stronger and stronger because that's something that I work on every single day, fitness wise, that has kind of gone backwards for me over the last few years. And in the last 2 to 3 years, I have tried so hard to get back on track with, eating good and being consistent and going to the gym. And I'll do it for a little bit and then I'll fall off. And I'll do it for a little bit and I'll fall off. And then the temptation gets the best of me. Chick-fil-A stares right at me. And I think, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Let me go get a large sweet tea, light ice. Like, that's my order. Every single day, you guys, I was going to Chick-fil-A. And so today, I don't know what happened, but today I woke up and I was just like, you know what? It's ridiculous that I am making these excuses that I can't go to the gym. Or like, it's right down the road. I pay the membership. I've been paying it for 2013, and it's embarrassing how often I don't use it. I was joking about it with someone the other day, and I'm like, that's just ridiculous that I don't use that. But also as an occupational therapist, a lot of times I see a lot of sad things, especially when I was still a student and worked in the children's hospital and the adult hospital. You see things that forever impact you and change your life, like people who were living a normal life, yesterday, and then all of a sudden they're your patient and they can't stand up on their own, they can't brush their teeth on their own, they can't wipe and go to the bathroom with privacy anymore. Like, they need somebody to help with everything. And that is something that is so humbling as an occupational therapist, because it really teaches you that life is short and it's very unpredictable. And I'm really thankful for my background as an occupational therapist because it has brought me more awareness. It makes me more compassionate. But I realized recently, like, I'm not moving my body as often as I can move my body. Like, there are people I've met in the past who were just typical, doing their thing every single day, and then this freak accident happens and all of a sudden they're paralyzed, from the waist down, and all they want to be able to do is walk again or run again. And it's moments like that that bring me back and say, okay, there's so much that I can do. So what is the reason? Like, what are the reasons that I'm not? And it's usually that our brain gets in the way. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that that's exactly what we talk about here. We do a lot of mindset work. You guys, if I can teach you anything, I hope that it is that you can have anything that you desire in your life. And if you don't have it yet, the only reason why is because of your mindset. If you can strengthen your mindset, you can have anything that you want in the entire world. And so this podcast is about bridging mindset meets that spiritual embodiment of becoming your highest self and who you are, feeling your feelings, learning your emotions, strengthening your emotional intelligence, and really just getting a stronger mind so that you can go do all the amazing things that you want to do in your life. So I, for the last few years, have, tried to get back into fitness because it made me really feel good. It kept my energy really well. Like, it made me happy. It decreased a lot of my anxiety and my depression. I loved the structure and order. A lot of the reason why I fell off the wagon a few years ago was because I got out of my routine. And then I realized, like after the fact, obviously, I realized I really didn't allow myself to indulge in any sort of thing. Like, I was so strict on myself that it almost became this miserable thing of like all or nothing. And I remember my life coach, one of the very first things that she taught me is there's no such thing as all or nothing. And I wanted to scream. I was like, what do you mean there's all or nothing? There's either you go to the gym all the time or you don't go at all. It's either you eat healthy all the time or you don't. There's all or nothing in everything. And she was like, no, all or nothing is a choice. All or nothing is just a thought. And it made me crazy, but now I see it. Like, I see that my brain really stuck to, well, if I don't eat healthy every single day, then I might as well go to Chick-fil-A and enjoy the meal, right? If I don't go to the gym and I skip a day or two, I might as well just skip the next 3 or 4 days. And all she was saying, and all of this means, is that when your brain can resort to comfort, it always, always will. So if you're that quote unquote yo-yo dieter, or you're the person that starts the gym or starts a new fitness program and then all of a sudden you find yourself, falling off the bandwagon, it's because your brain has had the opportunity to relax, right? Your brain has had the opportunity to become comfortable, and it becomes easier for it to just say, I don't think that we should do that anymore. That's hard. That requires work. That requires additional effort. And if we don't have to do that, then I don't want to. And so our brain communicates that to us, and then we decide that we're going to quit a lot of times. So that's kind of where I've been. And for some reason, I woke up today and just thought, you know what? This is ridiculous. I can get up, I can move my body, I can go to the grocery, I can get healthy stuff to have on hand, I can put stuff in the freezer so that we don't ever have to worry about, do we have it, do we not have it, because most of the time I'm the person that goes to the grocery every single day. And so I just decided, you know what, today marks a day of decision where I'm no longer going to let comfort of my brain keep me from things that I actually do desire. And what I actually do desire, even though I'm happy with my body, I don't beat myself up about my body on a daily basis, I know what it can be because I've seen it there before. And I know that the potential that it has, and we're not there. And I'm like, the only reason that I'm not there is because I allowed my brain to get comfortable for the last few years. I allowed myself to fall off track. And so what I really want to talk about today is how putting one step in front of the other, putting one foot in front of the other, is what really matters in all areas of your life. So this has been something that's been easy for me to incorporate with my mind. Every single day I do some sort of personal development, something, whether it's listen to a podcast, read passages of a book, really study up on quotes and then go deeper and figure out what they mean. Who are the teachers that are teaching this? It could be that I'm doing some programs with coaches of mine that I've hired, investing in myself. Whatever it is, every single day I do personal development. I know how it makes me feel. I know how it impacts my life, and I know how it impacts my business. And today I got to thinking, because I was on the stair-master, and if you don't know what the stair-master is, it's basically like a set of stairs, but it rotates so that you just keep climbing the stairs over and over and over, and you never reach your destination. It's actually torture, but at the same time, it's my favorite form of cardio. Always was back in 2013, 14. I loved it. I got to the point where I would stay on it for, I think, 30 to 45 minutes. So today I told myself I'm only going to warm up on it. I'm going to stay for 5 minutes. And then I hit 5 minutes and I thought I can maybe make it to 10. And I kept going, and then all of a sudden I got to 7 or 8 minutes, and I'm like, I wanted to quit so bad, you guys, so bad. I was so miserable, and I thought I can do another 2 to 3 minutes, and I did, and I made it to 10 minutes, and then I thought if I can do 10, I can do 15. and I ended up getting to 15, and then I thought if I can do 15, I can do 20. And I made it to 20 minutes, and then I decided like I could make it to 30, but I'm just going to stop there with my workout. But the whole inspiration for this podcast was how a lot of times we give up too soon. We don't push ourselves to see what's actually possible. We just allow ourselves to reach a level of comfort, and then we quit. And when I wanted to quit right at 5 minutes, I realized I was not pushing myself to my full capacity. I wasn't reaching the potential that I know that I have. And my brain was able to search for evidence of, Macy, you used to do this for 45 minutes. There's no reason why you can't do more than 5 minutes today. And then I hit 10 minutes, and then I hit 15, and then I hit 20. But my whole point was I had to coach myself on that stair-master to stay on and tell my brain that it was possible, because every ounce of me and every ounce of my mind wanted me to get off to be comfortable. And that's what our brain does in life. And it's also the same reason that tomorrow my brain will probably say, we can stay home and watch movies or do something else rather than go to the gym. And it'll be really easy, for me to say, yeah, I'm tired. I should probably just stay home and lay on the couch. But that wouldn't be getting me to my end goal. So the reason that I wanted to share all of this on the podcast is because I want to let you know that in whatever it is that you desire, like what is your long-term goal, know that your brain is going to fight you so hard on it, because it's always looking for the path that is the easiest. It's always looking for what's going to be most comfortable. And what's most comfortable a lot of times is when we don't have to put in a lot of effort. So, and every single decision that you make or every single decision that you don't is creating your result. So what I've experienced in the last 2-3 years of not going to the gym, when I know subconsciously I would feel better mentally and emotionally, physically I would feel better. I would love the way that I looked a lot better, because I've been there in the past, and I certainly love my physique with a lot of muscle, even though people used to say you look kind of manly when I would flex. I never got insulted by that. I always took that as a compliment. I loved my physique. But the thing about it is, it's like the last 2 or 3 years, I've just allowed my brain to choose comfort over effort. Like, it's too hard to meal prep. It's too hard because my husband won't want to eat the same things every single day. My husband won't want to, maybe meal prep and eat leftovers as many days as I'm willing to, which is the truth for him. But it doesn't mean that it has to impact my goals. But my brain has looked for the avenues to create any kind of excuse to actually keep me from what I subconsciously truly desire. And that is to be healthy and happy and really excited about my body when I look in the mirror. And the thing about it is your brain looks for the evidence to be right. So my brain has looked for all of the reasons why doing something like working out is hard, and then it tells me why I shouldn't do it. But the same can be true for why you can end up doing something great. So I have past evidence in my mind for why working out and eating healthy is hard. Like today, right before I did this podcast, I started looking at apps for counting macronutrients and tracking my food, and I immediately caught my brain saying, "Oh my God, Macy, you're going to have to track everything again. This is going to be so hard." And then I felt discouraged and I didn't download the app. And yet I have past evidence in my brain that says I can track it. I can do hard things. I can track my food. I know that I can do it. But because I also have past evidence in my brain that doing it takes time, doing it takes extra effort, doing it means reading the labels on everything that I eat so I know how many carbs and protein and fats I'm intaking. Because of all of that, my brain is like, no, this is really hard. And so in those moments where you have past evidence for both, you have to choose what is the goal? What is my end result? My end result is that I want to look and feel mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy. So that means that when my brain is giving me BS about the app being more time consuming, or the meal prepping being harder, or going to the gym being so ungodly difficult to do, I have to consciously tell my brain I can do hard things. I can do the things that feel inconvenient. I can do the things that feel like they're going to take too much time. I can do the things that I don't really want to be doing because my end result is to have the physique or to feel mentally and emotionally healthy, right? But what happens a lot of times to us is that we have the goal and we don't follow through with the action steps to get that goal. Our brain totally talks ourselves out of it before we ever get there. And so I had to talk myself into going into the gym. I had to talk myself into staying and doing some arm workouts and upper body workouts before I left. I have to talk myself into a lot of things, but I also have to talk myself into sometimes doing personal development every single day, right? Making sure I go to work every single day. How many times do we have to talk ourselves into that? We're like, the bills don't get paid unless you go to work. So you can do hard things, but it's just a matter of recognizing when your brain is like, I don't feel like it, I don't have time, I don't have money, into shifting into possibility and figuring it out. And that's what separates the people who do the things and who don't. And I see this in so many different areas of my life. So it was hilarious to me today when I was doing the stair-master and wanting to quit every 2 minutes, because I was like, it's so funny because I can see how the long-term goal, if you just do it, gets you exactly where you want to be. Last year was when I launched my life coaching business. That was so hard for me to even make a post about announcing, because I was an occupational therapist and I was terrified about what people were going to think if I didn't want to be an occupational therapist the rest of my life. I thought, oh my God, people are going to hate me and think that I'm ridiculous. And, she went to college and she spent almost 6 figures on the education and she doesn't want to do it the next 40 years. All these people are going to judge me. That one post on Facebook set me free. And then every little thing after that, like I said, those actions that you take or the actions that you don't impact your result. And this year I'm looking at my most profitable life coaching business year yet. And I'm like, holy crap, all of that was compounded from making that decision last year and going for it. For every program that I, have worked on, for every single client that I've signed, for every single day that I've done personal development, even when I haven't wanted to. So I see what doing it in spite of being uncomfortable has done for me in my business, but it didn't really I guess resonate with me today until I went to the gym, of how it truly is with every little thing in your life. If you want the body, you have to be willing to feed yourself the right foods, do the workouts, dedicate the time, the energy, and even the money, right? And if you don't have the money, dedicating the time to figuring out how you're going to do it at home. But the whole purpose is that everything in life is figure-outable. I think there's a book on that, Everything is Figure-outable. I haven't read it, but I've heard about it. And it's something that I tell my clients a lot of times, is that when we are presented with challenges, a lot of times we throw our hands up in the air and think that it's impossible. And we resort to the most comfortable excuses, which are, I don't have the time and I don't have the money. And these excuses are very easy to tell ourselves because most people don't question it, because we believe that so heavily to be true, and we can find evidence for why maybe we don't have the time or why we don't have the money, right? If we can even find evidence for little ways that it would be inconvenient, like I would be tired, or my kids need to be picked up at that time, or my husband would have to watch them for an hour, or I would have to cut back on getting my nails done. All of those things, our brain is looking for evidence of why we can support I don't have time or I don't have money. And then it then resorts to, okay, let's do what's comfortable. And that's how we get knocked out of our routines when it comes to anything. So if you're in a business, if you are wanting to get healthy or work out or save money or invest in something, like any goal that you have in your life, you can achieve, but you have to be willing to look at how it's figure-outable. And you have to be looking at and understanding that your brain is always going to resort to a place of comfort and always to a place of yeah, I probably won't want to do that, or it's going to be inconvenient, or I can find 10,000 excuses. And people ask all the time, well, how do you do it? How do you stay motivated? Honestly, I don't. I don't. Motivation is just a come and go emotion, you guys. What I see, like, I guess you could say what does motivate me is the end result. Like today when I was on the stairmaster telling myself, okay, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And I made it to 20 minutes when I really wanted to quit in like 2 minutes. The end goal was envisioning myself in the body that I desire with the like mental and emotional health that I desire. It was looking at past evidence of how good I felt back then. It was looking at, in my mind, right, how I felt back then. And when I was on the stairmaster, I just remember how good it always felt to be working on myself in that way. And I want to experience that again. And so in that moment, and I also thought, oh my gosh, my husband and I are taking a trip next year. I want to look super cute in my bathing suit. Like, not that I wasn't cute this year in my bathing suit, but I would like know what I want in as far as my vision. So I think that that's another thing is create, like, whatever your vision is, what are the steps that it's going to take to get there? And then do that. Go do that. That's really, really important. And I think that if we can just remember that our brain is always going to fight us on getting to our goal, we can hear our excuses in our mind, but not let them overtake us and keep us from having what we truly desire deep down. And for me, that is a life of time freedom and financial freedom and a healthy body, that I really want to take care of, and, happy relationships and more presence, like all of these things that I want in the moments where I listen to my brain feel really hard sometimes and feel really impossible. It's very easy to nitpick about why I can't have it, or why I'm undeserving of it, or why it's going to take too much time, or why it's going to take too much money. But it's just my brain trying to keep me in the place that I've always been. And if I listen to that, I'm going to be sitting on my bed, just like I am now, a year from now, with zero results. And I guess another thing that motivates me is when I think of that, I don't want that. I don't want that. So I don't want to be in the same place next year at this time. I want to be further ahead. And that in itself motivates me to get up and do the things that I don't always want to do. So record a podcast even when I'm tired. Come home from work and, go to the gym even when I'd rather lay on the couch. Of course, we would all rather do something else, right? To be stagnant. And this is not about ignoring your body and self-care. I think that that's important, and probably a podcast I need to do as well about taking care of yourself and knowing when to do that. But what I am saying is that whenever you recognize that your brain is keeping you from meeting your goal, that you have to tell it, you know what? You don't get to decide my future. In this moment, I'm going to make the executive decision that this is where I'm trying to go, and you're trying to keep me safe. And so I need to take this route and go the route that's going to get you that end result. It probably won't be the easiest. And if you feel resistance, you probably are on the right track. So I hope that this podcast episode helps you. I feel a little bit like it's all over the place, so I hope that you guys don't. But I just needed to share that today because as I was on the stairmaster, I thought, oh my gosh, it's so funny that it rings true with every single thing. In the gym, I wanted to quit. Sometimes in business, you want to quit. Sometimes in podcasting, you want to quit. And it's because your brain is looking for, how can I be the most comfortable? Probably laying on the couch like a potato, doing nothing and wishing that you're going to win the lottery and that somebody's going to hand you the magic wand that gives you everything that you desire, the time, freedom, all of that. And it doesn't happen that way. So if you desire things in your life that you haven't achieved, just know the only thing that keeps you from that, literally the only thing, you guys, is your mindset. And if you can strengthen that, you can have anything that you want. And with that being said, remember that I have my Rewired program up and ready to go on my website, MaceyRenee.com, under digital courses. If you click that, you can purchase Rewired for $99 if there's still a $50 coupon available, as long as all 10 people haven't taken it. and you get access to that program for life. So if you need the foundational principles for rewiring your mind so that you can change your relationships, your habits, your routines, getting to the things that you really want in life, the Rewired program is totally worth the investment, and you have it forever. You can watch it as fast or as slow as you want. You can replay it as much or as little as you want. You have it for life, and anything that I add to it from this point forward, you get for free. So if that's something that you're interested in, visit MacyRenee.com, and I will see you all next week.